Hey guys, Spencer here. In a previous video, we went over how to log in into Instagram. Now we are going to go through Instagram and learn how to like stuff in terms of whether that post be a video or it be a photo. So I can go more into depth on how to humanize this process and ultimately reduce the amount of time it takes to, like photos, because we all know it's mentally draining. So without further ado, let's get down to it. The game plan is going to be this. We're going to have a few tags that we're going to be looking up. And when I say tags, they're going to be like hashtags. So like cats, dogs, cars, planes. So we're going to have a list of those values, which we're just going to be appending those values to our web URL. And then once we have that specific tag, we will go through and iterate through the amount of posts that we have, given a certain probability, and then like the posts. We're going to try to humanize this process. So I went ahead and created a text file, just labeled as tags.txt, and I have my specific attributes that I want to look up to see what type of posts are out there. And note that all these posts are public, so whatever posts that we see, these are the type of posts that people have been posting. So we could be iterating through these different types of tags, and then we can just evaluate what type of posts we can look at and then deem whether or not to like it. Once that we created our tags file, we're just going to create a reference to that file. So let's call this tags. We use the pandas library to read in all of our tag stuff. It will just be tags.txt. Headers is equal to none. And let's get that out of the way. Save. Yep, headers is equal to none. So once we have referenced the tags, we'll be iterating through this file. So we're going to have like a for loop where we do for I in range, where we have calling the number of the rows of the actual file. Instead of D, we're going to have tags over here, which is our data frame that we're going to be iterating through. And now we'll be printing the Instagram, was it HTTPS, Instagram.com. Make sure you include this backslash. And then we're going to combine that with the tags file. So we're going to do an iloc, reference the ith row at the 0th column, and we make sure that they do not separate. So we're going to have that. Cool, let's test this out real quick. We're going to import pandas as PD. Once we do that, we have our file that we're going to be reading on in. Headers is equal to none. I think it's just header. Yeah, let's place the S. Yep, we successfully read in our file. Now we're going to be iterating through the file, and we're going to have our HTTPS address where we are going to reference. So similar to what we did previously, so that we can actually load in our website and have somewhat of a diagram to start clicking at. We're going to have a get function calling from the self driver. And we are going to be referencing all of our links that we have printed out here. We're going to be getting those links, and we're going to be iterating through those web URLs to go through each and every one of these tags to take a look at what those tags have to offer. Now that we know that our links will work here, let's create a function. So we could call this maybe like def evaluate posts self, and we are going to be passing in the arguments, which is going to be our tags over here. So we'll be passing in our data frame tags right there, and then we're just essentially just going to be copying and pasting what we have going on here. So we'll be iterating through the tags on the shape. We'll be printing out our links over here. Also, right after we log in, we are going to sleep for, I don't know, 1.3 seconds. And we don't need this code anymore. Let's remove this. And we're just going to be calling the function. So bot.evaluate post. And we'll be passing in our tags. We should be good here. That would just be printing here. But instead of printing, we're going to be assigning this function into a variable. And we're going to be calling this variable so that we can have somewhat of this, like something like this popping up, where we have a string and we're just going to be getting that string, where that string is a URL address. So instead of just printing this out, we're just going to be reformatting this. We're going to call this T for tags. We're going to be calling this address we have going on over here. And we are just going to be adding the tags of iLock, which is just going to be cats, dogs, planes, and cars. We're going to be adding that to here. And you should be good to go when we have all of our objects here. We are going to sleep for 1.5 seconds in order for this web page to load. And then this for loop will continue to go throughout all of our links, and we shall see many of our websites going from point A to point B. So once we have this, let's actually run this. Let's actually comment this first. Getting tags to evaluate posts. I think I spelled that right. No, I cannot spell. Evaluate posts. Okay, so once we have this, let's clear this. Okay, clear that console. And now we are going to run this function, or the entire script. Here it is. Okay, web page is up and loaded. From the last video, this is demonstrating how we can log in and get out of all of these URL notifications. Once we're here, we should now go to the next website. Oh, am I not calling self.get? Oops. 1 second. That's a real quick fix. Instead of, yeah, I did not reference that. So it should be self.driver.get, and it should just be T. And then we get the address to go to, and we should now go to those other websites that we have so conveniently written via the tags. So let's do this again. You log in, get out of all the notifications, get out of that one too, and then that's how you go to the other websites. Yes, every 1.5 seconds it continues to go through those links. And I think we are good to go in terms of what we could see and essentially just like posts, whether it be a video or a photo. For testing purposes, we're not going to be passing in all of our tags at once. We're going to be working with one tag and one tag only, since everything is going to be the exact same thing. So we could be commenting out line 60 and we'll be moving this on over, where we're just essentially going to get the very first row, which should be over here, cats. And so this is what the website looks like. It has a few photos that we can start clicking on. The very first thing we want to make sure we actually open the photo and then evaluate whether or not this photo is a video or just a photo. In order to determine the difference between a photo and a video is to just right click onto the actual photo itself, go and inspect it again so you get to the very base layer. Go ahead and copy the XPath, and then we can notice that there is actually a difference between the photos and the videos. And we can notice the difference between the div 2 and the div 3. So we know that this is a video and this is a photo. So using this criteria, we can determine whether or not to throw a null pointer exception, or in this case a no such exception exists. And we can determine which is a photo and which is a video. And by determining that, we can determine how long we can actually view it and what additional steps we will need to do in order to sort of trick Instagram's bot detection system. Now, really, one thing that we should take a note is to how do we actually open the photo so that we can continue to go through each individual post one by one and determine if we want to like it, so on and so forth. So there's a really neat function within the overall web scraping, and that's just finding the class name. And so using this class underscore 9a, this value over here, 9ahh0, we can actually just dynamically click on the very first photo and it will appear. So we can do that over here, where we essentially just do self.driver.find by class name, by by class name over here, and then we want that value over here. Let's just copy right here. Yeah, copy that. You can paste that over here, and that will essentially open up that very first photo, and then you can continue on your for loop. So we're going to be looping through for, let's say, 5. Yeah, let's do 5 posts at once. We're going to go through 5 of these iterations. We are going to create 2 randomized values where we have a video watch time, and we can do the random dots uniform and do like 5 to 10 seconds, where 5 is the minimum and 10 is the maximum. We're using our random package up here, and the uniform function is a function within random. We do the same exact thing for the photo, if it is a photo. Random dot uniform, and let's do 4 to 8. So once we have our 2 randomized values, let's sleep for like 1 second for our system to recuperate. And once our system has been done recuperating, we are now going to create a try and accept statement over here. So notice that I imported these 2 exceptions from the very last video. I didn't really go much into depth, but essentially no such element exception is when the value does not exist, and the element click intercepted exception is sort of given by its name. But I'm sure there's more documentation. Oh, there is more documentation on that if you are more interested in finding all these exceptions that may have been thrown when you're running your algorithm. But once you created your overall try and accept, it's essentially capturing what happens if your program errors out and what do you do about it. So in this case, since we know that we have a photo and a video discrepancy, we know that there's going to be somewhat of a exception that's going to be thrown, because the way that we are going to be programming it's going to error out. So one of the ways to counter this is via the try except, which we are doing right now. So the v_a is just a video playback button or the XPath. So we're just going to be copying this over here. Yep, once we have that, and then let's do like a video play. That is going to be or actually it'll be self.driver.find elements by XPath v_a. And then we want to click that button to essentially stimulate us, the human, watching the video of the post. Once we click the button, we want to make sure that we are sleeping for that randomized period of time. Once this has been done, we want to make sure that we actually like it. You can also randomize this however you would want to determine whether or not you are going to like a certain post. But in this case, we're going to have a 100% yield rate. So every post that we're going to be looking at is going to have like 1 like associated with it. All right, so we're going to do the same thing, self.driver.find elements by XPath. We can go over here and look for the button of the like. So over here, we can go a little bit up over here. Yep. We found the button address, copy the XPath over here. Let's call this, actually, since we know that there's always going to be a like button for each post, let's just create like a universal variable up here. So let's call this like button and put that in the address form. Once we have the address, we just want to reference this within the self_driver or self.driver, and it's gonna be right here. All right, so this is liking the photo, and then once we like the photo, let's actually incorporate some sleeps in here so we don't freak out the system. So yeah, once we like the photo, we want to go to the next photo. Now there's a really interesting function we can use, and I had to look this up online, but it's essentially the core sprited right page in Asian arrow. It's basically clicking that next button. It's really cool. It's basically like another class, and then you have to look for that specific class name so that you can reference just clicking through, and then you just do that by just essentially looking through the scroll buttons over here, right here, core sprite, right page, nation era, and then you just keep on doing that. So this function is super helpful in terms of finding your stuff. So once we do that, let's sleep for like 1.5 seconds. So this is going to be the videos. This is the video page, and then this is going to be the this is the photo page. So we essentially do the exact same thing. We get the address. Well, we're not getting the address since this chunk here will error out, and we know that since this is a photo, we don't need to start playing or anything like that. So once it errors out, we just sleep for a few seconds. Sleep for a few seconds, and then we want to just go to the next page. Also, we want to make sure we like that button as well over here, and that should be it. So let's sleep for like 1.25, why not? Photo, and then okay, for accountability, let's start printing some values out. So let's say watching photo for, let's see, that amount of time. And we will do something very similar for our video up here after we click watching video for that amount of time. Okay, and then let's do like at index I or J. This is J, yeah. Same thing for the bottom right here. Okay, sweet. Now I think our program is good to go. Our errors are just, there's too long, but that's fine. Not really meant to be readable or readable, so to say. So let's see how this works. So you log in, click not now, go to cats, open, oh, and then what we have over here. Watching photo for that amount of seconds. Okay. Oh. Okay. All right. It's looking good so far. 5 seconds. And we have index right here. We could probably change that to like picture or post. 4.9 seconds. So yeah, this is looking good. We're gonna be doing this for 5 posts. So after this post, I think we are good to go for a fully integratable, likable bot, so to say. Okay, that's enough. Alright, so this is looking good. Let's exit out of that. Oh yeah, wait, we want to see if we actually like the photo. So let's take a real quick look at that. Do we not? Oh, we did not like it. Okay. Let's see. Once we find it. Oh, we want to click it. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Dot click. Cool. Let's exit out. Let's run that again. Log in. Not now. Cats, open, watch it, 5.5. Let's see. Oh, yep, I liked it. Awesome. That's great. Meow. Okay. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this fully fledged liking bot. Super helpful if you want to sort of like spread your outreach and you're tired of just going through feeds and then liking everything. You know, it's very mentally draining, so hopefully this type of tool can be more useful in your everyday life. In the next video, we're gonna go more into depth on how to follow people, how to like stuff on your homepage, you know, just be friendly about other things. But you know, we are very busy people, so I hope that this tool can reduce the amount of time for you to do other stuff, and hopefully it's less mentally draining. So please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.